In the past days, Sayadaw has been explaining that in the moment of seeing, the receptor element, striker element, ignition element, these nama rupa are dukkha sajja, the truth of suffering. At the moment of seeing, one should be mindful in the way of Satipatthana practice, noting the object with aim and effort, with sustained mindfulness. By being mindful, one discerns either the rupa, materiality, or the nama, mentality. And by discerning either the rupa, mentality, or rupa, materiality, or the nama, mentality, one discerns what should be discerned. What really arises are the nama rupa that are dukkha sajja, the truth of suffering. And by being mindful in the way of Satipatthana practice, one discerns distinctly and clearly. By being mindful, one will not have craving on the nama rupa that has been observed effectively and efficiently. In this way, by being mindful at the moment of arising, one does not crave on these nama rupa, and thus does not craving have no chance to arise. In this way, samudaya sajja, the origin of suffering, which is craving, is removed by giving no chance for it to arise. In this way, one dispels and removes the samudaya sajja, the origin of suffering. One also removes not knowing, knowing wrongly. In this way, avijja, ignorance, is also removed by discerning. Tanha, craving, is also removed. Longing good things, clinging with craving are removed. Discerning the nama rupa, cause and effect, one removes ditthi, wrong view. So among avijja, tanha, and upadana, ignorance, craving, clinging, which are the most important to be removed among the defilements, these are abandoned and removed. The defilements have no chance to arise. The defilements are abandoned and removed. Removing the defilements, one also removes the deeds that lead to further assistances. In this way, one removes the bad volition that leads to bad behavior by body, speech, and mind. And also, one removes vattakami kusala, the ordinary form of wholesome deeds that lead to further assistances. In this way, by removing avijja, tanha, and upadana, one also removes the unwholesomeness as well as the ordinary form of wholesomeness that leads to further assistances. As one removes ordinary form of wholesome deed and unwholesome deed, the deeds that lead to further assistances are also removed. and one also removes the resultant. One removes also further assistances. In this way, the Kilesavada, round of defilements, Kamavada, round of deeds, and Vipakavada, round of resultants, are also coming to a stop by discerning Dukkha Sacca. So by discerning Dukkha Sacca, one also cuts the 3 rounds. One also removes tanha craving, which is the origin of suffering. And one is also removing the suffering momentarily, and there will be cessation of suffering momentarily. There will be momentary cessation. Analyzing the noting mind, there are the Sila, Samadhi and Panya, morality, concentration and wisdom. So the 3 trainings, Sila, Samadhi and Panya, are involved, which are also called the culture, the Buddhist culture, and also one possesses the sasana, the teachings of the Buddha. So it is very precious to be mindful, to be discerning. So by discerning, by being mindful of seeing, hearing, in this way, one discerns what should be discerned, one abandons what should be abandoned, one realizes what should be realized, and one develops what should be developed. So it is 6 at a blow. By being mindful, noting the object respectfully, meticulously, one discerns the nama rupa, cause and effect, impermanent suffering and non-self, and one develops Pubbabhaga Magga, the preliminary path, which will lead to Ariya Magga, the noble path. The nama rupa are arising as receptor element, striker element, ignition element in the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and so on. So the elements are arising continuously, just like a stream of current. And in Pali, it is called samsara. Samsara is the continuous arising of the nama rupa elements as cause and effect, like a stream of current. So the nama rupa are arising continuously in the bending, stretching, turning, opening and closing of the eyes, blinking. Even at the moment one is asleep, the nama rupa are arising. And these nama rupa keep on arising continuously, one after another, like a stream of current. It is called samsara. The seeing, hearing, they are produced by karma, one's past deed. The eye sensitivity, it is the result of one's past deed. The nama rupa arise from the moment that one is conceived in the mother's womb. But the nama rupa that arise during the conception is not as obvious. But when the person is born, the nama rupa that arises become obvious after the birth. So when a person is conceived in the mother's womb, they are the nama and rupa which are the result of one's past deed. And after the person is born, there is seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, the touching consciousness, which arise as the subsequent result. And the nama-rupa that arise at the moment of conception is the result of one's past deed. So there will be life when the ovum and the sperm come into contact in the mother's womb. Life starts at that very stage when the ovum and sperm come into contact and conception takes place. The nama-rupa that is involved in the conception is a result of one's past deed. And throughout the life, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, they are the subsequent result of one's past deed. Based on the seeing, hearing, which are the subsequent result of one's past deed, one should not be performing new cause that lead to further resultant, and one should do so by the way of Satipatthana practice, so that one will not be cultivating more causes that will lead to more result and more assistances. In the seeing, the eye sensitivity and the visible object, they are rupa, materiality, which are dukkha satya, the truth of suffering. Seeing consciousness, seeing contact, seeing feeling are nama, mentality, which are dukkha satya, the truth of suffering. By being mindful at the moment of seeing, one discerns distinctly the dukkha satya, the truth of suffering, by discerning the nama rupa. And one should make it stop at the resultant, not to develop any more causes that will lead to further results, further assistances. The cause that lead to further assistances are the ignorance, not knowing, knowing wrongly, craving, longing, having wrong view, clinging with wrong view. Such defilements are the cause that lead to further assistances. So based on ignorance, craving, clinging, the person performs good and bad deeds that lead to further assistances. And the assistant is also a resultant. So one should stop at the resultant with not cultivating any more causes that will lead to further assistances. So it is very important not to be cultivating the kind of deeds that lead to further assistances. So not cultivating the deeds that lead to further assistances, the resultant will be stopped and cut. By being mindful of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, which are the result, by being mindful of the result, one will be cutting the cause that lead to further assistances. And one should be mindful in the way of Satipatthana practice, so that one will be cutting the causes, one will be removing the causes, and thus samsara, round of assistances, will also be cut. There are three kinds of dukkha. the Dukkha Dukkha, Viparinama Dukkha, and Sankhara Dukkha. The first one is Dukkha, and there are two words that have the same meaning. When two words that have the same meaning are used, it means that it is extreme. So Dukkha means extreme suffering. The suffering, the physical suffering, mental suffering that are extreme are called Dukkha. When there is extreme heat, extreme cold, then there will be extreme discomfort, and one will not be well. If there is extreme stiffness, tension, there will be discomfort, and there will be Dukkha, extreme suffering. Viparinama Dukkha is the reversal or loss of the good feeling and the comfort. The good objects, pleasant objects, come into contact, and there will be good seeing, good hearing, but they don't last long. They go away after some time. So one feels discomfort, losing the good thing that has been heard, that has been seen. So in this way, there are pleasant, good feeling at one moment and dissolve at another. There is the reversal or loss of the comfort and the happiness, and it is Viparinama Dukkha. If there is pleasantness, comfort, it only lasts a while, but it dissolves, it goes away after some time, and there is Viparinama Dukkha. The Sankhara Dukkha is the Nama Rupa. Whatever Nama Rupa that arises do not stay the same. They arise and pass away. So one is constantly tormented by arising and passing away, and it is Sankhara Dukkha. At the sixth sense door, the Nama Rupa are arising, passing away. Every element arise and pass away. They are Sankhara Dukkha, and one is constantly tormented by arising and passing away. They are Sankhara Dukkha. And the person who enjoys pleasant objects, for example, if a person likes to listen to a sweet sound, after listening to the sweet sound over and over again, one gets fed up with it, so that one cannot bear the sound of it anymore. The person who likes to see beautiful things, after seeing the same thing over and over again, one gets fed up that one cannot bear the sight of it. And even among partners, husband and wife, when they get along well, it seems quite smooth and pleasant, but after some time, when they do not get along well anymore, then the person cannot bear the sight or the sound of him or her. So it is Sankhara Dukkha. Everything arise and pass away, and thus one is constantly tormented by arising and passing away. So every object arise and pass away, every Nama Rupa arise and pass away. They are Sankhara Dukkha. There is no stop. There is always arising and passing away. So one's life from the time of conception they are the result, immediate result, and subsequent result. The karma one sees by body, speech, and mind, such deeds generate the result. When doing deeds by body, speech, and mind, there is the cetana, volition involved. The volition that is involved in one's deed by body, speech, and mind, such volition is the cause that lead to further assistance. They are called janaka. They are the cause that produce the result. And there are also upathambaka, the supporting factors, supporting causes also. Not knowing life as suffering, thinking it as good and pleasant, not seeing the flaws of existences, craving, clinging to it, clinging with wrong view, such kind of deeds lead to further existences. So when there is ignorance, not knowing that existences are suffering, not seeing the flaws of it, there is craving, clinging, and based on this ignorance, craving, and clinging, the person performs good and bad deeds that lead to further existences. So in this way, the good and bad deeds are generated by avijja, tanha, and upadana, ignorance, craving, and clinging. And because of these good and bad deeds, there are results that lead to further existences. So these good and bad deeds generate new existences. Based on the cause, which is the origin cause, and the janaka cause, the cause that produces, there is seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, arising as a result. So from the time of conception, the result and subsequent result are arising. At the time of conception, it is not possible to be mindful. But when seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, which arise as a result, one should be mindful by the practice of Satipatthana, so that one will not be cultivating new causes that lead to further existences. Practicing Satipatthana meditation, one discerns the nama-rupa, cause and effect, arising, passing away, and one discerns that there is suffering, and one discerns the truth of suffering. One understands through the practice that there is no person creating. What really arises are the nama-rupa, which are arising as cause and effect. And one discerns the nama-rupa, cause and effect, impermanent, suffering, and non-self, stage by stage. And one realizes that the existences are suffering. One understands and sees the flaws of existences, so that one will not think highly of existences. Thinking highly as the existences, thinking highly of the existences, there will be craving. One take it as pleasant, But when one sees the flaws of existences, knowing that they are suffering, Tatna, craving, does not have chance to arise. In this way, craving is removed, and one also removes wrong view. In this way, by removing craving, clinging, wrong view, one removes the origin cause as well as the producing cause. And thus, new existences will also be cut. Practicing Satipatthana meditation, one removes the origin cause as well as the producing cause, and thus the results are also removed. And the three rounds, three kinds of vata, three kinds of rounds are also removed. Vata is the rotation of the nama rupa. When the fan is switched on, the electricity goes through the wires in the cable, and the dynamo will be generated, and the fan rotates. And if one increases the speed of the fan speed will become faster, or one can put the switch to the normal speed, and the fan rotates at the normal speed. Just like a fan rotates, in the same way, the nama rupa, which are cause and effect, arise continuously, just like a fan rotates. So these nama rupa are arising as cause and effect continuously without a stop, just like a fan rotating. There are three kinds of rounds: Kilesavata, the round of defilements; Kamavata, the round of deeds; and Vipakavata, the round of resultants. And Sayadaw will explain how the three rounds keep on rotating from both theoretical and practical aspects, and Sayadaw will continue tomorrow.